I'm Emilian Limon, and welcome to Other Presidential Potentials 2024. This is the place to discover some of the other people who have officially filed to run for president in 2024. They were chosen randomly from the Federal Election Commission website and are being spotlighted to see if they have the chops to take the seat in the Oval Office. Our next candidate comes from the great state of Oregon.
My name is Brittany Jones, and I want to be the next president of the United States.
Brittany Jones spent most of her early years living in various places in Oregon. She graduated from Churchill High School in 2007, and on her 18th birthday, she joined the military. A few years later, Brittany married Gene Shai in 2019 and has 3 kids. Brittany has been a business owner for over 10 years, while also being a skilled seamstress and a published author working on her second book. Brittany has a passion for politics and activism. She believes in fairness, especially for religious diversity, taxation, education quality. And now Brittany wants to take all that experience to become the next president of the United States. Hello, Brittany, and welcome to OPP 2024. My first question to you is one that I ask everyone. Running for president is a gigantic, life-changing move. When was the moment you made the decision to run for president? Paint that picture for me.
It was actually after Donald Trump won the election in 2016. I had been considering it for years before that. Obviously, I was way too young back then. And once Donald Trump won the election, I realized that more of us had to step up and stand up against that type of corruption taking office. So at that moment, I decided that as soon as I was old enough, I was going to sign up to run for president. And that is this election.
The southern border of the U.S. has been a mismanaged problem for decades. Even though the majority of the people crossing originate from Latin American countries, more people from other nations are attempting the journey as well. The reason for many remains the same: to come to the U.S. for better opportunity and a better life. Should the U.S. focus on just controlling the border, or should the U.S. help these other nations to provide a better life for their citizens?
I actually frequently talk about not just the southern border, but every port of entry where people are coming in illegally or legally. There is still a huge strain on our immigration system, and we need to actively demilitarize our presence globally and move to an economic shift. Because by improving the infrastructure and economy in other countries, the people won't want to leave as much, and it will boost the economy in America as well, while reducing the strain on the system. We'll save money on the social programs that we use to help migrants as they come in. We'll actually make money by being able to have new trade options as economies in other countries grow without being stifled by military conflict. And it can overall help us in ways that we haven't tried yet. The last time we worked with Mexico to boost their economy or to help them in that regard, we saw the boosting in our economy and the improvement on the infrastructure. So doing that on a global scale could really bring stability in a lot of different ways.
The following statistics are from wisevoter.com. If you look at the global population, on average, for every 100 people, there are 12 guns that they own. For the U.S., on average, for every 100 people, there are 120 guns that they own. Now, some of the reasons for gun ownership range from vocational to recreational to collectible, yet the U.S. has a problem with a high number of gun violence, including some instances where dozens of people are killed. Should the U.S. implement the policy of other nations which heavily restrict gun ownership, or should there be more regulations on ownership?
I don't believe in restricting the type of gun someone can own. Overall, we do have the right to bear arms. However, the Supreme Court ruled that it's not against our constitutional rights to have regulations on how you get the guns. For example, background checks, universal, including for private sales, gifting a gun, or for gun shows. We also need psychiatric evaluations to check on the mental health of the person who is wanting to buy a gun. We see that the declining mental health care in America is directly contributing to the rise in gun violence. People who suppress their emotions don't get taught how to express them in a healthy way, and this toxic masculinity of forcing men to adhere to the standard of being a man. They're not allowed to express themselves in a healthy way, and often that results in outbursts of violence, including gun violence. A lot of the school shooters, mass shooters are cisgendered white men. And I do believe it's directly connected to that. And by working together, improving the mental health care of this country and putting those restrictions in place opens those doors to that mental health care, because they would be able to see a counselor and get a diagnosis and get treatment and be able to try again to buy a gun. So it's not a permanent no if you're told no. And you'd still have your right to bear arms. You just have to choose to go through the steps to get it.
For all the accomplishments the U.S. as a society has achieved, one problem that has gotten worse is that of income inequality. More people are complaining of working harder but getting rewarded less, while those who have been rewarded, it seems like they get rewarded even more. Is there a way for U.S. citizens of all levels to achieve financial equality? Or is this the natural byproduct of the life created in the U.S.?
I believe there is a way to reach that stability and be able to live life without having to worry about going paycheck to paycheck. But we have to get the right leadership in position, meaning you need to vote for the people in Congress who want to have a living wage, who want to have a cap on prices. Maybe set it up so that if you raise wages, they can't raise the cost of goods just to keep the CEO pockets padded, because that's all it is. That's what inflation is. They're trying not to lose their own income. And we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. They can't use the excuse of raising minimum wage to increase the prices, which we see every single time, because then the people can't afford to live. But that is something that Congress has to focus on. Only Congress can pass completely new legislation and restrictions like that. The president can only sign them into law once it comes across their desk. But it is something that I would absolutely support.
Brittany, I thank you for your time to present your candidacy to be the next president of the United States, and I wish you the best of luck. If anybody wants more information on Brittany's campaign, check out her website, jonesforpresident2024.com. That's Jones for President, JONESFORPRESIDENT 2024.com. Coming up, I will present other presidential potential for 2024. You can check them out on OPP2024US.com. That's OPP2024US.com. Election Day is coming up on November 5th. If you haven't done so, please register to vote. And when it comes time for it, please vote.